Howdy peeps, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. And we're back out and about on our adventures again. And today we're in the small North Suffolk village of Icklingham, and we're at the All Saints Church. And this one's got an interesting story to it. So let's get the camera flipped round and listen to the motorbikes going past in the background. And let's see what happens. We have the notes written down again. Apologies if I'm pointing the camera in random directions, but with the sun on the screen, I can't see a thing. Now, Icklingham is an ancient village. It was named originally after the Iceni tribe, who were of Celtic, not Celtic, Celtic origin. And as any good Brit knows, the queen of the Iceni was Boudica. And in the 1st century AD, she led the only successful rebellion against Rome in the UK. And when the Romans left, circa 400 AD, the Iceni were finally driven out by the Saxons, who are still here. You don't have to worry about that in my videos, I do it regularly. We've got a couple of kids walking past blowing raspberries, so you know. This is a Sharpie video, so random bodily functions happen anyway. Now, in nearby West Stowe, they've actually excavated a former Saxon village. I've actually been to see it, it's quite impressive. And that's also where we went for a wander down by the River Lark. Now, I really can't see what I'm pointing the camera at, so you'll have to bear with me. But if you can see what we're looking at, this is the graveyard. And it's looking rather overgrown, thinking so sharp. Why is it so overgrown? We'll get to that in a bit. Now, where we are up on the hill has likely been a site of religious import for a long time, certainly to both the Saxons and the Iceni, and probably before then. The church was first built here, this actual building was around 1200 AD. But what remains was mostly rebuilt in the 14th and the 15th centuries. But in a kind of thankful kind of thing, the church was abandoned in the 19th century, as there are 2 churches in what is a very small village, and has been left be. The Victorians haven't messed about with it too much. Now at this angle I can actually see what I'm pointing the camera at, so we have the square tower with its nice buttresses, the wall, and the not too uncommon for these parts thatched roof of probably the inferior Suffolk reed rather than the best Norfolk reed. A lot of the windows inside are still original. As I say, we've got a couple of visitors. The east window of the south aisle does date, hole in the ground, does date to 1320, with intricate traceries and repeated quatrefoils, and either side of it are ornate niches which would have held statues of saints. So the roof is local thatch, as is the flint, typical of flints or churches of this area. Now there are carvings on the north and south walls as well as in the aisle. And as we said, the large sections of the medieval glass still remain. The floor tiles are also medieval, which we'll see when we go inside. And not only are they handmade, they are custom made for the mosaic of the individual church. I'm not sure what two young lads are trying to do around the church on a Sunday afternoon, but probably up to no good. Now, I think the rest of the info I've got is on the inside, so let's just keep wandering, shall we? There is carvings on the north and south walls as well as in the aisle. We're going with floor tiles. So the nave benches date from the 15th century. A bit precarious, and health and safety would probably not like people to use them. The other side has 19th century benches, which are a little more usable, shall we say. The rood screen dado is of 15th century origin, altered to accommodate the Jacobean gate in the 17th. The pulpit is also Jacobean, and the font is 14th century. And you're wondering, Sharp, why are you wandering randomly away from the church? Well, we're gradually getting to that, as we are coming down here. I have to be very careful when I'm pointing the camera, because that is the rectory. And yes, it's a private home now. But as we come down here, we find a gap in the hedge. And this is where things go a little off the beaten track, as opposed to yeah, we're into the paranormal side, so if you don't like paranormal stuff relating to churches, now's the time to turn off. So this gap in the hedge next to the wall, it's reputed nothing will grow there other than grass, and that's kind of struggling. Because way back in the day, apparently a witch lived over the back, and her ghost is still spotted on quiet evenings, literally along this pathway. Now, it's not just her, not just the witch's ghost that is seen, but there is also her familiar, who happens to be a large white rabbit. It's kind of getting a familiar sort of tale around the Thetford area, or areas of Thetford Forest. White rabbits. But then Suffolk's known for white shuck as well, so there we go. Other shadowy figures have also been spotted in the graveyard and around the church fairly regularly. It's not a hidden thing. It's not people hide it up, or it's not heavily reported either. But we're going in into the undergrowth like David Bellamy, and we're at the end of the path anyway. Oh well, that's a bit pointless. But hey, we're in the shade and it's a bit warm, so we can stand here. I can see what I'm pointing the camera at, and I can point it at the church. And I can then talk. So, the Witchfinder General, and we're in that area of the country again, Matthew Hopkins, on one day hanged 18 people in the village of Icklingham. Most likely pretty much the other side of the road. There was 16 women and 2 men, all accused of witchcraft, all hung basically without trial. So that would explain some of the activity, shall we put it, because as we've been walking around, as Mary and I have been walking around, and when Mary visited the other day, yes, we felt presences, definitely. So listen very closely to the background, you might hear an EVP. There have also been remains of a Roman cemetery found close by as well, which again ties back into the Iceni times and being a site of special religious interest even back then. There is another place close by, oh dear, I'm going proper Norfolk. Another place close by known as Dead Man's Grave, which is the grave of an executed highwayman who was beheaded, and his crimes apparently prevented a Christian burial, so he was buried outside of the graveyard itself. And to this day, cattle, horses, all shy away from this area. They don't want to be near it. And he is seen fairly regularly as well. You know, he's seen as a headless figure, befitting, with his horse. And I say, I'm not sure if I've encountered him or the witch or anyone in particular. Another one that is said to be here is, or instead of, because you know how these stories get conflated over the years, John Cambridge, the prior of Bury St Edmunds, was also a possibility for being around here. And Simon Theobald of Sudbury, who was a previous Archbishop of Canterbury, was beheaded in June of 1381 on the 14th. Yes, sometimes records go back that far are accurate. He was beheaded at the Tower of London, and he's another who is reputed to be here. Now, as I said, yes, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure, this place is haunted or has paranormal activity occurring. And we do have some rather gorgeous life going around, wildlife. We have damselflies, the beautiful demoiselle, all sorts. Now today, Dead Man's Grave is actually a site of special scientific interest. As we said, yes, there is a general vibe of something. Whether it's a bit stronger today because we had a bit of a thunderstorm yesterday, I don't know. It can't hurt. And as some people have said, and it's been kind of pointed out, Sharpie, where do you get all your information from? Well, weirdly enough, the internet. And today's information, use the right word, comes from three sources, mainly. We have suffolkchurches.co.uk, which is a database of all the churches in Suffolk. We have britainexpress.com, where there's a rather nice article about this old church. And Weird Suffolk, which is where we found the majority of the paranormal stuff. So, shall we go inside? What do we reckon? Shall we walk in? Do we dare? Yes, we do. But that's going to have to wait for next time. So, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for next week's inside, see what happens. Have fun. Like, comment, subscribe, share. all that good stuff. Peace out. And bye bye. Stay spooky.